It is coffee o'clock.
Dude, what are you doing?
Coffee o'clock.
Well, yeah, but it's time to record.
Oh, fuck.
Welcome back to the late podcast. This is episode 2. We have finally determined after episode 1 that we're going to call this the late podcast with some later uploads. But today we do have a guest star that may or may not continue coming on the podcast and be kind of a main star with us and keep it going with us. And we'll see where we go. Sometimes we may have him, sometimes we may not. But welcome, Matt. Do you want to say anything about yourself? Introduce yourself.
Well, as he said, Matt has been a close friend to them, so I'm ready to talk about some stories. So let's get going, boys.
All right, let's get it rolling. So, you guys have any trips planned anytime soon?
Ooh.
Not anything like right now, waiting for everything kind of to clear up and be safe. Like, not exactly safe because things are safe, but things might be spiking up again. I don't want to make like any determined trips right now to exactly go anywhere. So I would love to go to like Florida or something before the end of the year, or like maybe you said you want to go to a trip to Alaska.
Yeah. Alaska around this time of the year is probably when it's dark out all the time, and I know you guys call me crazy all the time for it, but I think it'd be pretty sweet. 2 in the afternoon, pitch black outside, cold, just the way I like it. I've honestly been thinking, Matt was even talking to me about going down to southern Alaska towards Anchorage.
Yeah, like Anchorage. I think it'd be a good idea. Just hopefully it doesn't snow too much. Go visit, see some new things. Can't go wrong with it.
Or I've been thinking, if not Alaska, maybe like Minnesota, one of the Dakotas.
Yeah.
Montana.
Yeah, Montana.
Montana's pretty
One of those
beautiful.
places that not a lot of people want to go and visit.
No.
Exactly.
I mean,
Those are the most beautiful places because they're the least touched.
I would love to go to Utah.
Yeah, that'd be a pretty cool place. A lot of Mormons out
I was
there.
going to say,
Well, it's just a beautiful place, They've
Yeah.
got some beautiful sites. It's also the second hottest
Well-
state in America, so
well, you know
Really?
why the Mormons went to Utah is
or the second driest.
they were looking for some sort of peace, like in their like religion, and supposedly it drew them there. So I mean, makes sense. I mean, beautiful land.
But I don't have anything really planned except that for sure that I am planning to go to Paris in 2024 for the Olympics. But
Paris.
I would love. I'm so interested in the Olympics. This year was a great year for the U.S. for the Olympics. What's that for?
Not to get political, but
I'm saying the Olympics.
Yeah,
but
Yeah, but you can't let one athlete's political opinions judge the other.
who is that?
athlete.
One girl who won gold for us from Ohio.
I don't know who you're talking about.
The one she was right out of North Olmsted. She won gold for us.
Oh, she was a diver, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love how she was like, Cleveland, this is for you. Everyone, oh, she's channeling her inner LeBron.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, that was great. But I just want to, I'm always so interested in the Olympics, and I would love to go see just the Summer Olympics in Paris because I've always wanted to go to Paris. My girlfriend wants to go to Paris. And I just think it would be really cool for her and I to go, spend some time together in a city that she loves, and would love to go and just experience the Olympics, and I think Paris would be a great place for that. I mean,
that'd
if they
be pretty
come to
cool.
America, again, I don't know if they do plan on it anytime soon, but I would love to go see the Olympics in in America too. But Paris would definitely be a great first experience to go see the Olympics, and I'm starting to save up already to go, so it'd be a great time, I believe, and we'll see where life takes me before I even get to there, but that is something that I do plan on going to do. I don't know about you guys, but that is what I plan on doing in the next couple of years.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Los Angeles, the last time they hosted the Summer Olympics was 1984.
Wow.
Yeah, my
35 plus years. Wow.
my grandma went to that one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No
And they,
shit.
no, not that one. She went to the one in Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But Matt, where would you like to go in the next couple of years? I know you've talked about a few places, but
There's a couple places. Most of them really in North America between the United States and Canada. I mean,
don't forget about Mexico.
well, yeah. I mean, living in the United States, it's such a big country. There's so much out there that you don't see every day.
Oh,
From
no.
one end of the country to like the other, it's completely different. So
Right.
Yeah, hitting all the states would be pretty cool. Take a
Yeah,
picture in every
exactly,
one.
all
Hit all the
50.
get all the landmarks that are out there.
Yeah. How was your trip to Niagara?
good.
Well, other than not being able to sleep a wink because this guy needed to stay up and wanted to chit chat the whole time, it was pretty good.
You're supposed to be co-pilot.
Co-pilot needed a little sleep.
You're
The
fine.
co-pilots are allowed to sleep.
Yeah, see? But yeah, it was pretty cool. It was really cool. This one area where the two falls go down together, there's like this little overhang that you can look over and see Toronto on the one side. There was so much like force coming up from the falls, it was like misting you in the face. I had my sunglasses on, and I felt like Matt constantly having to wipe my glasses off. He was like, I just took mine off.
I mean,
That's the beauty of it, though, is it's just something in nature that you just don't get to see every day.
Yeah.
You don't walk outside of your house and get splashed with a waterfall, so it's pretty nice.
And Jared, you'd really like this one. They were throwing down fresh mulch.
oh, of course.
Oh, yeah. Fresh summer smell. 8 o'clock in the morning. You'd love it.
It was cool, and then lots of walking. Definitely a lot of walking. There was this one store called Made in America, or like For America, something like that. If the owners are listening, sorry for butchering your name. It was pretty cool in there. I got this really badass dream catcher thing it's like a Native American that's a skeleton, and it's got wolves and a skull on there, big headdress and everything. I'm gonna probably get that for my next tattoo once I save up enough money.
That'd be nice.
Yeah,
Where do you plan on putting that one?
on my right shoulder.
Oh, all right. Well, Hunter, is there any places that you, in particular, besides like the next like 4 years, 5 years, that you would like to go within that time span?
I would definitely say the Grand Canyon. That's something I've always wanted to do, and my dad and I have always planned on either hitting every national park possible in the United States, or like a couple nearby where it's like pretty big, like how Cuyahoga Valley National Park is, or even just taking a road trip out and hitting like I said before, all the landmarks and whatnot. And he's always wanted to see the Grand Canyon, and I just hope the cheap prick doesn't go without me.
Have you guys been to Yellowstone or no?
No, actually, I'd like to go check it out. What was that? Yellowstone's the one with the geysers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool to check out.
And that mountain thing.
The what?
That mountain thing.
Yeah.
The presidents.
Oh,
Mount Rushmore?
yeah, Mount Rushmore. What isn't that one of the Dakotas?
Yeah.
South Dakota, I believe.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. It'd be
Yeah.
cool to climb it, see what that whole door behind the head thing is all about.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Well, you guys don't seem like the type very interested in that, like how everyone's like, I want to go to those southern states like South Carolina, go to Myrtle Beach and Disney and Florida and all those types of places. How come?
Well, I think I speak for both Matt and I. We prefer more country-esque areas, and
Like the nature kind of?
yeah, more nature. Because Matt said it best this one time that nature's pure and innocent, and it can't hurt you like how people can. And sometimes the best company is just to be out in nature.
So you don't really care for the beach, is what you're saying?
Yeah, no, not really. I'm not a big fan of sand, finding it in places where it doesn't need to be.
Yeah, you'll find that for a couple of years.
Yeah, to chime in on that, it's just something that I've been there, seen it. Just want to switch it up. Nothing's bad about the beach, but you can only go there so much before you want to see some other things.
Of course.
I'm
Well-
guessing you're more of a beach goer, Jerry.
I do enjoy my beach. It's nice, relaxing. But I've always loved the water. So I mean, there's like no other better experience to experience the water than like going out on the beach and sitting there for a little bit, watching the shore and stuff. You know, it's kind of fun. I enjoy it. You know. So,
Ice cold beer with it too.
yeah, of course. But I don't know. I've always loved the water, and you know, I love nature, but water is true to my heart. So I don't know.
Yeah, we can tell you were a swimmer back in
Yeah.
high school.
For a couple of years.
Every day it seemed like this guy would shave his body, other than the hair on his head. That his hair is like a black, dark brown. He would dye it blonde, and then it would turn green in the water.
It wouldn't always. It wouldn't be like green, but it would be a light tint of green. Yes, and it was not every day. It was once a year.
It looked like the hair on the Grinch.
Well, I'm saying my like shaving,
Yeah.
and I only dyed my hair once a year also. So,
Nearly looked like a Karen for a little bit.
oh jeez, we're gonna get canceled.
Shout out to all the Karens out there. Screw yourself.
Well, why don't we switch topics now and we'll talk about what kind of job path that you guys want to do in your future and where you want life to take you.
Well, I know, Jerry, you want to do landscaping, right?
Yeah, but let's start with Hunter.
Well, as often as my dad laughs at it, I want to get into film or music.
And you said that this podcast is just kind of something to help you with it, right?
Yeah, kind of touch up on some skills here and there for a couple things. But honestly, I wasn't even going to get into film back in high school. All it took was from this one friend of mine in my film appreciation class to be like, you know, if you like movies, I can show you this program I'm in. I went in for an interview. I kind of liked the classroom because it was an area of the school I'd never been in before. So I was like, oh, hell yeah. And all the equipment that was down there. And then junior year, kind of touched my feet into it. And then senior year, I was able to make a music video that turned out really well. I made another one, and that one tanked. And I was supposed to make a third one, but then the pandemic hit and everything. Ever since then, I've kind of just been interested in making my own movies. I've been paying attention to directors and what they do and their styles and everything. A big favorite of mine is Tim Burton, right next to Christopher Nolan, who directed films like Dunkirk, the Batman trilogy, Inception, so on and so forth.
So, for the people that want to know, where can they go and see that music video that you said you did really well in, and the one that you said you did really bad in?
Well, the one I did really bad with, I don't think I posted that one, but the one I did really good on, it's on my one of my Instagrams. It's either the Hunter Hogan Experience, Joe Rogan, if you're listening. I didn't take experience from you, or you can find it on my Facebook, Hunter Hogan, picture of me, so you know it's me. I'm in a pink Reptar shirt. Got to rep the 90s.
All right.
So Matt, how about you?
You know, not completely sure. Been bouncing around some ideas. Probably thinking CDL truck driving, but we'll see.
A lot of blue collar.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, wherever the money is, I'll go with that.
What made
So-
you want to get into truck driving?
I mean, I think it kind of ties to wanting to go out, see new things. You're on the road, you get to see new things.
Well,
Understandable.
it probably helps that throughout your whole life you've always been growing up around cars and vehicles and all that fun
Yeah,
stuff,
somewhat.
hot rods and stuff. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's true to your heart. So maybe that's just where your true desire is, you know, to stay around that kind of field, and working with trucks is just an easier way to stay in it without trying to be the mechanic. And sometimes once people become mechanics, they lose their love for cars. So.
Yeah. So how about you, Jared?
Well, as you guys know, I am a landscaper as a day job, and I do plan on taking over and becoming my own landscaper, and probably do that for a long time until I get some workers to take over and run the business for me, and I just gotta do the business portion, and they just do the cutting of grass and mulching and whatever it may be. But I enjoy what I do right now, and I see myself going down that path. But until that happens, just working.
And those of you who are listening, Jared is also in the Ohio National Guard. Jared, you got any plans to continue with that, or?
Well, as of right now, I think I'm just gonna do out the rest of my 6-year term, and after that, I don't know yet. I have to see where I'm at in life when I get there. If I want to continue, maybe I'll continue. If not, I served my time and I enjoyed it. But I do also want to get into real estate. That is where my true love is. So.
This guy with real estate.
Hey, it's a big money maker, and it's a very big business out there, and you can make a lot of money through it. And I hear a lot of people enjoy it, and they have a good life from it. And that's all I want for my kids. So
Yeah.
I want them to enjoy life and have a good life. I don't want them to grow up and worry and stuff. So
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Understandable. Now, so what have you guys been up to lately?
oh, we're switching gears again, huh?
Yeah, we're gonna turn the ship a little bit.
All right.
Anything new going on?
Honestly, working a lot.
Yeah.
You got to pay the bill somehow.
Yeah.
You got to do what you got to do. Always on that grind to try and get something better in life, So get the most out of life that I can.
Yeah. Matt, he just moved into a very luxurious house out in North Royalton. So Matt, how's the new house going?
Besides a creepy swing in the backyard that looks like from The Conjuring and weird noises from the basement, I'd say it's been pretty good.
You like the change, or do you miss the old house?
I like it. It's such a better area. Even though it's 15 minutes away, it's crazy what being like 5 miles in a different direction would do. It's crazy. Neighborhood's completely different.
Do you enjoy having more land, or do you miss having that smaller backyard?
Oh, I love it. You got more space to yourself, more space to do what you want. Ride 4-wheelers on it if you feel like it.
So, how's that zero turn going for your dad?
Well, cuts quicker than the push mower.
Well,
That's
yeah,
a
for
fact.
sure. But that yard looks a little rough. It's got a little bit of ups and downs.
Surprisingly, it's not too bad. Only ruts in it are a couple inches.
Once you
Not
start
too
driving
bad.
4-wheelers on it, you're gonna have a lot of ruts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at the same time, you wouldn't have to worry about cutting the grass if it's all torn up and muddy.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but it's always nice to have a nice looking yard, though.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Well,
Depends if you wanted your little gated sub-community.
we're gonna get canceled. Well,
So, talking about cutting grass,
boy.
for years on end, I've been at a battle with my yard and cutting grass. I've broken quite a few blades here and there. Broke a push mower on a stump in the backyard.
I've done that. Yeah.
I think just keep power tools away from this guy.
Hey.
Yeah, especially Cub Cadets.
Hey,
Yeah.
every time I'd break a mower on that old red mower that sits in the backyard collecting rust, my dad, I'd be like, "Hey, Dad, when you get back, we're going to have to fix the blades on the mower." He would go off. He's like, "Every fucking mower you touch, you break." That's not true. Just crappy yard.
He'd probably make the argument that you're a prick that broke his stuff. That you need to be more.
He's always like,
careful.
"Oh, you gotta go slower." I go at turtle speed. It takes me like 2 hours. I kick it up a little bit. One little thing happens. Whoa, ho, ho.
Well, that's a problem. It's at turtle speed. You're supposed to go at snail speed.
Yeah, we're waiting for the fall to come around so we can tear up the whole yard so we can level it out. We've got too many ruts from all the jobs we've done back there. When we used to have the white F-150, we'd load it up with crap. Matt, you were there that one time when we trimmed the bushes and
Oh,
we'd
yeah.
ride it up the hill to get to the backyard. There's still ruts in there from then.
Yeah.
Those never go away.
Yeah.
Not unless you level a yard, they'll never go away.
Yeah, hopefully we can do that soon so I'm not fuck crap.
So let's switch gears one more time and stop talking about grass because it's boring. How about we touch back on a topic that we talked about last podcast on our first episode and ask Matt his opinion.
Oh boy.
So Matt, what do you think about the Indians changing their name onto the Guardians?
I think a lot of people are unhappy about it, but I think almost like in today's culture, if you're called out for something on racist, you have no other choice. You just have to. They're doing it to save themselves. I mean, it's been a controversial topic for decades. It's bound to happen sooner or later. I say as long as the team's still good, we got a good, strong team, good players. I say it shouldn't be too big of a problem, but I could see why people are upset about it.
Why do you think people are so upset about it then?
I mean, there's a lot of people that just don't like change. They're just used to their old, I guess, routine, old ways, and sometimes change can scare them because change could sometimes potentially bring bad things. And I think just the idea of change scares people.
Well, you can say that some people are scared of change for the reason of which that the Indians have been the name since 1900s. I mean,
Right.
the early 1900s, and it's been over 100 years that we've had this name, and it's kind of, I don't say scary to change the name and stuff. I just think it's kind of ridiculous that it's been around for so long that finally now, because we have the media and everything, that people complain about so many things that we have to change the name now because they're afraid that they're gonna get canceled, and the Indians are gonna be what? I mean, they're still a professional team. I mean, you
You
can't.
can't just cancel a professional
Yeah,
team.
I mean,
No.
what are they gonna do? I mean, yeah, they're scared because their media rep's gonna go down. Oh, wow.
Oh boy.
Nah.
They went how many years without being with the media? All they had was the radio. I mean,
Or
you know.
newspaper.
Yeah, newspaper. I mean, how many years did they go without the media? And now that the media comes around, we've had all these, oh, the Indian's name is racial, Chief Wahoo is racist, blah, blah, blah. Why is that such a big deal, like now?
It's almost more racist to complain about it being racist.
Is it because that it gets thrown around more with how much attention the media gets?
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I think today's age where everyone's on a phone, they have instant news coverage right in front of them. I think it's brought to people's eyes way quicker, and in the addition of cancel culture, I think when you combine those two, I think that's what brought it on. But I wouldn't be surprised if in the near future more teams change their name, but
I wouldn't be surprised either, but I don't see why they have to, you know?
Yeah,
it's
not
cancel
a must.
culture.
Right.
That's why it's cancel culture. These
Yeah.
places want to save their pocketbooks.
And you know who
You don't
even
wanna get
started cancel
canceled.
culture?
Some teenagers.
Yeah, like who is it? Is it a group, a vast majority that decides what's good and what isn't?
Right. I mean, who knows? But the one thing that I wanted to ask was, is media, do you think, destroyed America?
Oh, for a fact.
I
For
mean,
sure.
Yeah.
if we just look
For
at
sure.
how they portray that we used to be such this great country and everything was so much about America and everyone was so bonded and patriotic towards America, how has that changed? Do you believe it's because of media?
Yeah. Look at right after 9/11. No one had phones. The only phones around were like flip phones of the time. Those phones that you could use as a
And
hammer.
of course, wired phones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
House phones, landlines, and
yeah.
few
No one
that had cell phones.
no one was recording or taking pictures and sending it out for everyone to see. The only time you really saw anything was if your AOL would boot up and you'd find something on
Well, you were
Internet
able to watch it
Explorer.
on TV.
Yeah,
your-
in the
Your good old
news.
56K
Yeah. But-
modem.
Everyone wasn't a tiny news reporter then. With all these media platforms, everyone can be almost like a little news reporter.
Yeah, but we can. But how do you want? You can also look at the way that I don't believe media has completely destroyed America, because I believe that media has also brought a lot of people together. Like, yeah, I believe if we didn't have the media or technology that we have today, we wouldn't even be able to do our podcast that we're trying to do right now. You know?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you got to look at it in both ways. So,
But like to the whole how America was back then, without like the phones and all that and all these media platforms, everyone was sitting around singing Kumbaya. Now everyone's dividing because social media.
how about we change a little bit? Now, you brought up Kumbaya. How do you think that the music has changed throughout the years?
Oh, it's definitely taking a hard left turn. Because you used to see rock, R&B, and pop. Now all you mainly hear about is
And country.
Country too. All you mainly hear now is rap and pop country.
Yeah.
Almost
Yeah.
as if rock completely disappeared from the scene completely.
Oh, and sort of true rap.
Yeah.
Now this
Mumble.
new stuff that they call rap, and they just drop F-bombs everywhere and
Uh-huh.
they say it's real rap, and they just make up some random
Noise with their mouth.
and then they talk about
like
sex the
Snoop
whole
Dogg.
time.
Who was Snoop Dogg making fun of? Wasn't it
I
like
think
the
it's
Mingos?
Migos or like Future
Yeah.
that he's making fun of.
He's sitting there with like 50 Cent and a couple other guys, and he's like, "These guys, they're just a hen and a hen and a hen. Man, get the fuck out of here!" It was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think music it's definitely changed, but you've seen aspects of two completely different genres in the past morph together, such as like country and pop. You've seen it put together, and you got elements of both put together now, where you wouldn't think back in the 80s where you'd take country like Alabama, Hank Williams Jr., and other artists like that and morph it together with like Michael Jackson. But I mean, that's kind of what you're getting now. You've got pop country and hip hop. Hip hop has morphed into almost more like pop. Like the pop industry, it's definitely had a big aspect on the music. And as far as rock goes, it just doesn't get played on the radio. It's almost like what the radio plays is like what's popular.
Yeah, and an artist can come out, a rock artist, barely get any coverage, and then you finally discover them after a couple of years, and you're like, "Holy crap! How did I not hear this before?"
Right, exactly.
Well,
But I do want to say that you don't. I want to go back and touch on the topic of the country and pop mixed together. Some things were good about it. There were some good artists that came out through it that it made a lot of people realize, oh well, like I wasn't really big into country, but this country pop made me more. They think that I might like country, and then they and went back into the country, what country really was, and they found out that they really like country. I think it did the same thing for many different artists in many different categories, but I'm not saying it's a great thing that they combine both and that's all you hear anymore, but I am saying that it is revolutionary, that is how country is now being portrayed, and that's how the direction that country is going, and it's not the same that it used to be.
Or you gotta love how some screamo artists have turned into rappers now, and now you get that collision of screamo and rap, and it's all just really heavy stuff.
Or how MGK went from rap to rock,
Yeah,
kinda.
I listened to that new song of his, Paper Cut, and he's got Travis Barker on drums again. Honestly, you can judge me all you want. The song wasn't that bad.
Travis Barker, that's a dude from Blink 182, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think with music today, I mean, it's just bound to happen. Changes are bound to happen. I mean, just for instance, look at music, how much it changed within the time from the 60s to the 80s. It completely changed. So
Yeah.
the music is different than what it was from the 90s to like today. For instance, the hip hop we have out today, they wouldn't have had that back in the 90s. I mean, another one you wouldn't see is country rap, such as like Upchurch. I mean, there is nothing like that in the 90s, but
Yeah, like
I mean-
back in like the 50s and 60s, you had guys like Paul Anka talking about asking a girl to put her head on her shoulder, and then in the 80s, you got Poison asking you to talk dirty to me.
Yeah, right, exactly.
well, I mean, I'll say one thing. I think some good genres definitely died off in a sense, and I think part to blame is on what these record deals sign for the radio play, because what gets played on the radio is what becomes popular, and I think a lot what it is pop that's played. So
Yeah, pop's kind of taken over, and Dave Grohl said it best once. He said that rock didn't really die; it just comes in phases, and it's gonna come back and be on top once again.
It's just been shadowed
Yeah,
over.
it just takes time, and you gotta wait for something groundbreaking to happen again, like how Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, Nirvana, they all kind of made the huge switch that it was glam rock and hair metal to grunge.
Yeah.
There wasn't a small transition; it was night
It
and
was
day.
huge, yeah.
I think what would bring rock back. Now you guys could judge all you want, but since like rap and hip hop's so big, I think something that ties like a rap rock, almost like Limp Bizkit of like the late '90s, but like like more modern version would bring people back into rock because it ties to like hip hop and what like a lot of people listen to.
Yeah, I agree. But how about we talk about one more thing before I don't know how long we've been going so far, but let's talk
I
about
think
one
only
more
like
thing
9
before.
minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
hasn't been long.
It's short. I mean, the last time I looked at my watch, it was 20 minutes.
How much
But,
have you had
alright.
to drink, bud?
What do you guys say about? Actually, I don't want to head that direction because we're gonna get really political, and I don't want to do that again. And
Typical.
we do that
Jerry.
again. So, Hunter, what do you got for us?
How do you think the Browns are going to do this year? You think they're going to make it?
Honestly, you know, ESPN has given us a really bad rating
Yeah.
for the odds of making it to the Super Bowl of like
5%.
5%. No, the odds of winning the Super Bowl were 5%. The odds of making were 10%, something like that. But we had a pretty good rating of making the playoffs of like I believe 67%. So I believe that we have a good chance of making the playoffs and we'll do pretty well. But I have to see how we go with this first game against KC. I think that's really going to set the tone.
Yeah.
I mean, if we do good and we portray what we should have done last year in the playoffs and got a good call, but we didn't, if we portray what we would have done then, I think we'll have a great start to the season and we'll go far. If we have a rocky start and not do so well that game, I'm not saying we have to win the game, but if we don't do so well in that game and we walk in with our heads down, I don't think we're going to do that great for the first half of the season.
Yeah.
I believe if we have our heads up high and we go in with a running start, we're going to do great for the first half. Once we hit bye week, I think that's just going to propel us into the rest of the season, and we might be able to make a solid run in the playoffs.
It's all about the chemistry during the preseason of getting everything down, knowing everything like the back of your hand, so that way when push comes to shove, all of our starters are fresh, ready to go. Our backups and secondaries, they're at any minute they could step in, and it's like we didn't miss a beat at all. It's not like, oh, great, that person's out there. It's no,
For sure.
the team is out there. You
Right,
know?
exactly. It's not Cody Parkey out there kicking for
Right.
us. The team is out there playing for us, all right? You
Yeah.
know? And I agree, but we did this past Sunday go up to that the Browns training at the stadium
First Energy.
to see that Brown scrimmage, and you know, I liked what I saw for the most part, but I think Baker was a little rusty this past offseason. Those couple throws that he was making in the scrimmage weren't looking too hot. He was overthrowing a lot,
Yeah.
a little off to the left or the right, and he was just not hitting the targets when the defense was out there. When the defense wasn't out there, he looked beautiful.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter. You're gonna have a tough defense on every week this year.
Especially with KC.
I know.
Oh yeah.
First game.
I mean, we're gonna have a tough go. I know we have a really good defense. We're a good, strong core, but if we can't pass on our own defense because we're throwing too high, we're getting too much pressure in, I don't know if I should say it's on Baker and he's not prepared for the season yet, or if I should say it's still in the line. We have a really young, good line, big line this year, so we should not be worried about the line. He should have plenty of time in the pocket. Last year, he had the most time out of every quarterback in the league in that pocket. I think he's going to do great with the time that he has. He just has to focus in on those throws.
Yeah, luckily it's still early in the preseason, so he can warm up, get back into the swing of things, and
Right.
hopefully hit the nail on the head with every throw.
Right. I mean, we do have upcoming this Sunday, we have our first preseason game. So we'll see how he performs there. He'll probably only play the first quarter, and then we'll bring in the rest of the practice team to see who's going to make the team. So, I mean, as far as we know, he looks good, but I don't think he's performing the great way.
Better than Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that guy's about toast.
Yeah.
He should retire.
Yeah, but I think he still has like another year on his contract. If I'm right.
I want to say he just extended a year,
That's
Really?
crazy because
for this season.
he's
Waste
pretty
money.
old too.
Yeah. And to think no one would take him because he's built to be a linebacker.
Exactly.
I mean,
it
But that was the style back then when
Yeah.
he came in, though.
yeah.
Now he's getting outran by every quarterback, and he just can't keep up.
Yeah.
He should have called it quits after last season, but he just wasn't
Yeah.
ready.
But
When
I
he
mean,
went out the first round of the Browns, he was just not ready.
Yeah.
no. But also, coming from a Browns fan, what people won't want to admit is Roethlisberger back in his prime, he did good for the Steelers. He was definitely a good player.
Yeah.
But I think just like any player that's been in a bit too long, I think his time's come, his prime's over, and who knows what the Steelers are going to do to find his replacement.
I wonder if Roethlisberger will have his own last dance.
Yeah. Well, the other thing about the Steelers is their whole team's all tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
and that was their big thing, like, for their first 11 games when they went undefeated, but then they hit a mark and they just kept losing and
Yeah,
losing,
they just
and then
blew it.
then they were blaming it on the TikTok and the players not focusing. And I agree. I mean, their players were out of their mind. And
Yeah.
I think they've got to really dial in their players this year if they want to get somewhere.
They got to be solid.
Yeah. I mean, their players really have to focus. I mean,
Right.
they're not going to get an easy walk in the park in our division again.
Yeah, they go around stepping on everyone, hit that one roadblock that starts messing everybody up last season, and then next thing you know, they're getting upset at everybody. It's like you can't blame a team for being good.
I know.
Right.
As hard as that is for a Browns fan to say, you can't get mad at a team for being good. You take a team that they would crush all the time.
Oh, yeah.
We
for
start
sure.
beating them. Oh, what the hell? That's unsportsmanlike.
Yeah,
no,
and then they say that
take
their
a
second
loss.
line is out there.
Right.
Yeah,
Bull.
take a loss. Be a man. Take the loss.
Exactly. I mean,
Right.
you can't come out and try and be like, well, you guys are supposed to be bad. All right, over years, yeah, you guys beat on us and whatever. But that was only in the past, decade or two.
Yeah, past 10 to 15 years.
In the years prior to that,
Oh,
it was always the opposite way around.
Yeah.
No one remembers those times because it was before Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Well, it was around the time I think that the Steelers got good was right when they picked Roethlisberger up back in his prime.
They were good before that.
Well, yeah,
they won
but-
plenty of championships, but they won plenty of Super Bowls before.
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
They never were a good team before the Super Bowl era.
Yeah.
No.
And
No one ever wants to talk about the Browns' accomplishments and championships before a Super Bowl era.
no,
Except Browns fans, though.
of course. But what's crazy to think about is that when Jim Brown retired, he was in his prime.
Yeah.
And plenty of people that watched Jim Brown play or whatever, they always said that if Jim Brown continued to play and didn't retire in his prime that he did, the team that we beat those past 2 years previous to win our championships was Green Bay. The team to win the first 2 Super Bowls was Green Bay. That's why it's the Lombardi Trophy. The Super Bowl trophy is the Lombardi Trophy. If the Browns, and if Jim Brown did not retire from the Browns and call it quits, and stayed a running back for the Browns for the first 2 years of the Super Bowl era, I believe we would have beat Green Bay those first 2 years, and that trophy would not be the Lombardi Trophy. It would be the Jim Brown Trophy
Yeah.
Yeah.
or the Paul Brown Trophy, whoever. But I believe that it would be a different. The NFL would be headed in a different direction than what it is
Yeah.
if things were different. And
Browns would be a lot more respected.
of course. I
Yeah.
mean, Green Bay is always going to be respected.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
and they've always had great players. I mean,
Yeah.
and some of that comes down to GMs and coaching and
Free agents.
yeah. We haven't always had the best of that luck.
Yeah.
And I mean, just look at Johnny Manziel.
Oh my god! Don't even get me started.
Good old Johnny Football. He's going to do it.
Parker, if you're listening, hold. It's okay. It's okay.
Hold
It's a
those
safe
comments
space.
back.
Yeah.
Safe space, buddy.
But we, of course, didn't have all the greatest luck, but we did pull out Joe Thomas, and he amazing Hall of Famer for sure.
Yeah.
Actually, he was just in the Hall of Fame class this past year, I thought. But besides the point, we did have a lot of great players that played for us that don't get the recognition that they deserve because everyone put the Browns down at the dumps with the Lions.
I mean, at
And
least
the Lions had great players too that never got recognized.
yeah, and at least we got rid of good old McCoy.
Yeah.
He's not even doing good now. Oh my god.
Not too much now, but
I definitely think this year, compared to last year, we're going to see a lot of similarities in how well we play. It all just comes down to those final playoff games, if we make it and
Right.
when we make it, that we stay consistent with everything we've done throughout the season.
I think we're gonna see a lot in our season. A lot of running.
Yeah.
I mean, with the core that we have for our backs, we're gonna have a lot of Chubb and Hunt.
Oh yeah,
We're gonna have a lot
powerhouse right there.
and I
With
think
O-
that's what's gonna push our team.
Is Odell back for the season?
So I believe he's back for the season, but he did not practice at the scrimmage.
Yeah, I know he didn't practice at the scrimmage. You think he'll be in this season?
I believe if we see him on Sunday in the first quarter,
He will.
that he will be in for the rest of the season.
Because look how well we did without him last season. Imagine how good we're going to do with him this season.
Right.
Right. I mean, he got injured very early last year,
Yeah.
and that kind of put our whole momentum like at a slight halt when we were like, what are we going to do without him?
Yeah.
But then we had Hooper, right?
Yeah.
We had him step up and he became a great wide receiver.
Very
and
good.
I know he's our tallest wide receiver. I believe
Yeah.
he is our tallest wide receiver, and he's been a great wide receiver and a great addition to our receiving core that was already very strong.
It's funny watching him in the end zone. He'll just catch the ball and just fall.
Yeah.
Even Dylan's around him. It's like, look out, Timber!
Yeah. And I mean, I want to say Hollywood Higgins, but
Higgins.
Higgins is going to be if he stays healthy and he's strong, he'll be great. I mean, I feel like if our whole receiving core stays healthy and strong, they will be a force to reckon with. But that all comes back down to if Baker can get those passes off.
Yeah.
And if he can get them on target. When he first started against the Jets, he was that crazy quarterback running around throwing the ball off one leg, and but it was amazing to watch because he was so great at what he did.
Yeah, and now look at him. He's just getting better.
He is, but now they're trying to transition him into that pocket quarterback, and I don't know if that's what he needs to be. I think he needs to stay how he was with that running around throwing.
Right.
Not always, only when he has to.
Yeah, like what was it, KC that he ran it in?
Yeah, but I would love to. I want to see Myles Garrett go off this year.
Oh hell yeah!
I mean, I know he had a rough comeback after COVID, and he wasn't the same that he was.
Still
But
an animal.
I will say that he
yeah.
is still an animal. Looking at him at that scrimmage, he looked amazing.
Oh.
He did a great job. I think that he has found his. I think that he found how he was doing in the first half of the season last year, and I think he's really going to push for it again this year. I think he would be a great defensive player of the year if he can really push for it. I mean, he can be the sack leader for sure, but he's really got to put in the work. I mean, I hope Ward stays healthy, and then what's his name? Not Jeter. The other cornerback from LSU that we picked up last year in the draft.
Yeah.
I hope he stays healthy too, because those two are a force to reckon with. I mean, they hold everything in. And then who was that safety we got this year? I think I don't remember, but I know we got a lot of good people this year that I want to see perform.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean,
It's
and then
definitely gonna
Taki.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's hope Njoku can keep his butter hands under control.
Yeah.
Did you see him in the scrimmage? He looked great.
Yeah, he looked
Oh,
good.
yeah.
I think he found himself too. I mean, honestly, of course, we're always gonna get put down because you're the Browns.
Yeah.
But I think that we're gonna do great. We got a lot of great people on our team.
Yeah, a lot of talent, a lot of potential.
But it's all spread out evenly.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Not
except
too
our
much.
backs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The backs are pretty powerful. So it's going to be hard to give them their touches, but I think they understand. I believe that Chubb, Hunt, Landry, they all understand that they're not going to get as many touches as they believe they deserve. But throughout the years, they've already figured it out. We have to be team players more than just selfish.
Yeah.
And I
Right.
feel like I love OBJ and all, but he is kind of that way. I feel.
Yeah.
He still hasn't fully learned that, I don't think.
I feel like
Landry's really put him under.
Oh,
that,
yeah.
but-
with OBJ, with him being gone just about most of last season, that build of chemistry kind of got cut off there. So hopefully, with him being at practices, he can rebuild the bond to
If he
where
builds
it's
his bond
smooth
right,
again and make him not so selfish on the field.
I don't think he's like when he's playing with Landry. I mean, him and Landry had a great thing in LSU, and bringing them back together in Cleveland is going to be a great. It has been a great thing.
Oh, for sure.
But it's going to continue being a great thing. But I think slowly throughout the years, he has learned with aging a little bit that after he left New York and now he's on a team with a lot of other talent rather than just him as that wide receiver core, that he is learning slowly that it isn't all just about him. Yes, he is a huge star, and I love him for our team. And he's been doing great things off the field, let alone just on the field, because he hasn't really gotten to play much time on the field with all the injuries. But that's okay. I mean, we're gonna see him hopefully perform really well this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we got a lot of good key players that we've had this past season, and I think they're just going to come out and do a good season this year. I think part in the last season, you got to give up for Kevin Stefanski.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
huge
I mean,
deal.
Got the Browns far for what they were.
I mean, from going to a negative season to an absolutely huge positive season
Right.
that we had, I think what he did for our team is extra
Groundbreaking.
amount. Wow, I can't speak. You know what I was trying to say though.
Yeah.
It's groundbreaking, yeah. And I think it was absolutely great what he did for the Browns. So, and if he just drives the team that he did last year, we're gonna do great.
And just look at Baker. From how he started with Freddie Kitchens to where he is now with Stefanski. Those two together.
Oh,
Unstoppable.
Soaring.
Well, also in the past, I think the Browns' biggest problems was we had good players, but as soon as they made a mess up, they were so quick to get rid of them and replace them. Versus where you've seen other teams where they would hold on to the players and work with them more. I think that's the biggest issue with the Browns, where they weren't getting anywhere. Spend all this time training a player, they make a few mess ups, and you go, okay, well, we're trading you for someone else.
Right.
You're not going to get anywhere because it's all just thrown down the drain at that point. And your potential talent, well, went to another team, and, well, they go to someone else, and someone else makes them useful, so.
Yeah, I mean, we've had so many great players go to other teams and be such huge parts.
Or
of
just
teams.
look at Antonio Brown. How he went to Tampa Bay this past season.
Right.
Well, yeah, but Antonio Brown was a huge part of the Steelers as it was.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But
Him
then
and
he-
Roethlisberger.
But then he wanted more.
Yeah.
So then he went to Oakland and he was not feeling it there, clearly.
Yeah.
Then I want him to say that he did go to the Patriots for a little bit, stayed under Tom Brady, and then called it quits.
Mm-hmm.
And then came back when Brady moved to Tampa, and I don't know what it was, but him being with Brady really put his head in the right place,
And they clicked.
and they clicked. I mean, he wasn't the biggest star because of Mike Evans being there in Tampa Bay, and Mike Evans was absolutely a great wide receiver before Tom Brady, and then Tom Brady came in and made him even a better wide receiver. And just having Antonio Brown there as that secondary, bringing Gronk in for that tight end slot, they just killed. And just because that's how much power Brady can bring in.
Right.
I wonder how we would have done against Tampa Bay had the game not been rigged against the Chiefs.
Oh, you mean if
I think
they
we
didn't
would
have
have put a good fight
targeting?
up against them. I think we would have put up about equivalent of a fight that the Chiefs did.
Yeah. If not better.
I was going to say, I think we would have done better because of the drive that we had.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we had a stronger drive. I don't think it would have been a crazy difference, but I think it would have been slightly stronger.
But
in
we
a sense.
always forget about not only did the game against KC not go that well, but looking over to that game that KC played against the Bills.
Yeah.
I mean,
That was the same exact game, essentially.
yeah, but how would we have fared up against the Bills, you think?
I think we would have been fighting ourselves in that aspect.
Yeah, because it was two young quarterbacks that came in the same draft, and they have a very similar play style, and I think they would have done great against each other. But I think that we would have had a really good chance at making the Super Bowl last year if we didn't have that horrible play call.
Yeah, because the same exact thing happened with Kansas City and the Bills. Called it.
Yeah, I know.
But for us, no.
That's just our curse.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this year we broke it.
Break it.
Yeah, break it. Especially after that little earthquake we had that awoken the Cleveland gods of sports.
Yes.
And you gotta love how the Browns, they don't just give themselves credit or like the organization or any of that. They give the fans credit.
Right, I know, and I love that they give the fans credit. I mean, I want to say it was last year or the year before that we were determined on Twitter that we were the number one fan base in all of the NFL.
Yeah.
And the Bills were also very strong fan base, but once the Bills had lost to us, their Bills Mafia then propelled into then being like the Browns are a stronger fan base than us, and we want to help them be determined the strongest fan base in all of NFL. And then that made a lot of people say that the Browns are the new team of America. But clearly, America still does not love the Browns.
Yeah.
But a lot of people say that we did take over the title from the Cowboys of being the team of America.
America loves Tom Brady. That's simple. Where Tom Brady goes, America is going to love that team.
I would say a lot of people would disagree. a lot of people really do not want to see Tom Brady be Tom Brady anymore and keep
Yeah.
going on and winning
They
championships.
just want him. They want the poor guy to retire already.
That guy's not retiring.
Yeah, but that
for
guy's
a few
a-
years.
That
How old
guy's
is he
a
now?
fucking miracle.
42.
And how old was Manning when he retired?
A lot younger. But Manning did something that no other quarterback has done.
Yeah.
I mean, that man came back from a horrible injury with his neck, and the Colts wanted nothing to do with it after that injury. Went on to Denver and won another Super Bowl and decided that I'm retiring.
Yeah.
You know? And I wish that Breeze had the same outcome. I wish that Drew Brees would have gone on and won his last Super Bowl and called it with the Saints, because the Chargers did not see the potential in Drew Brees that the Saints did clearly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when he got drafted by the Chargers, and the Chargers didn't want what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
And then the Saints believed in him, and he became a Saint. And that man never left. He did great things for
Yeah,
the
he was
city of New
like their
Orleans.
franchise player.
Yeah. I mean,
And then another thing you have to look at is how a lot of quarterbacks that are great now, they all really sucked when they first started out.
well, yeah. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
You gotta
a lot
get
of those
good.
quarterbacks, but now a lot of those quarterbacks now are those young running quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what
It
this
used to
league
be a
is
throw
trying to turn
game.
into.
Now it's a foot game. The whole switch from the throw to now foot, you know.
That's
Look
when
at-
Peyton
look at
Manning.
Baker.
Peyton Manning was all about that throwing. That man would drive down the field in 28 seconds to get a touchdown in that last half of the game to win the game by throwing the ball, kneeling, throwing the ball, kneeling.
Right.
Now we watch these quarterbacks, if they don't have that open look,
Like
instead
Lamar
of throwing
Jackson,
the ball
he'll run
away.
down the field.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of throwing the ball away, he sees that open lane to run down the field and gain 20
Like
yards.
a goddamn gazelle.
It helps him that when he first started, he was a running back.
Yeah.
And then when he went to college, became a quarterback, and then came into the league as one of the best running quarterbacks that we will probably have in the next couple of years. I'm not going to say of all time yet, because we never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, he's still young.
He is still very young. I will say that he has been a very good running quarterback. I would want to say that he's been better than Michael Vick. Michael Vick was an amazing running quarterback,
Yeah.
but Michael Vick did not reach his full potential with how he went in and out of jail. And
You think
Agreed.
Lamar is a better quarterback than Joe Flacco?
I think the
They're
Ravens
close.
wanted to take a different direction.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco was a great quarterback because he had the team to surround him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they had one of the best defenses out there. I mean, with Ray Lewis and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, but Ray Lewis is what drove that team to that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's why Joe Flacco has a Super Bowl, you know? And I'm not saying that he's not a great quarterback, because Joe Flacco is a really good quarterback, but he's more of that Roethlisberger type,
Yeah.
you know? He's that big guy that is just there to stay in the pocket.
And throw the ball.
Right.
rather than
He's got a
run.
good arm. Right. And I think that the Ravens knew that this league was changing, and they need to have that young, talented, skinny, fast quarterback.
Yeah.
You know, and that their whole team has kind of changed to that young talent.
Mhm.
And I would say that the Browns are kind of headed in the same direction, but they're middle ground. I mean, we have a scrambling quarterback that can throw in the pocket, which I think is great, because you trap Lamar in the pocket, he can't throw.
Yeah.
I mean, and Baker is that dual threat.
Mm-hmm.
And then you add into our running game, absolutely amazing. Compared to the Ravens, they just lost Ingram. I don't know what they're going to do about their running game anymore.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, Baker's that crazy son of a bitch that'll go on a fourth down from the 30-yard line, sometimes even the 50. It's like, you motherfucker. He pulls it off. It's like, holy shit.
yeah, I know. But let's switch gears one more time, and then we'll end off this podcast. So, Hunter, with you being this film guy and all, wanting to going to school for it currently, actually, for it.
Yeah.
And what do you want to do with this podcast to really inspire you and push you through this film? Where do you want it to take you?
I wanted to kind of give me a better understanding of not just audio equipment, but to kind of further my knowledge when it comes to recording, producing, editing, getting things out there, putting it on a platform, making things geared towards certain audiences. It's kind of just getting my feet in the water in an industry that it seems small, but it's actually huge.
So just to get your name out there, basically.
In a way, yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's gonna kind of call it for
Today.
tonight, and I think so far we've done pretty well.
Yeah,
Matt, do you have
episode 2
anything
now.
else to say before we go?
Not really. Besides, I'll see you all next time.
All right. Well, Hunter, let's have you Let's have you close that out. Why don't you?
All right. We'll be back next time. We'll catch you on the late podcast. Catch you later.
Peace out. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out.